difference between an author being successful and being able to share his or her idea versus just being somebody who has all these sites up and there's no real conversation. And when you're in these spaces, it's not just about selling. Because if you're there just pushing out information that my book's on sale, nobody's going to want to, I mean, I found that Facebook, you know, the message, you know, the component of it is almost like opt-in spam, because you get all kinds of stuff where people are pushing stuff versus creating a conversation and creating a relationship. Okay, so really the marketing game has changed in terms of how do you engage people versus just push information out. So now I'm just going to open up the floor to questions, and I'm just going to answer questions. If not, I can keep talking, but I want to make sure I can specifically address any questions that you might have.
What are some ideas for effective ways to use Facebook if you have a fan page or a group page or things like that?
Okay. Some of the things that I would think about from a Facebook fan page perspective is that you have.
What are some effective ways to utilize Facebook fan pages and groups to expand your fan?
Okay. First of all, you have to have content that's going to be interesting. So you have to give people a reason to come to the fan page. So that means that if you have a fan page and there's nothing new that's going up there on a regular basis, there's no reason for them to come back. And so now you have to give them really interesting reasons. So say, for instance, you might start an interview series where you post the interview there, and so people know that they're going to be interviewing people. Like last week, I did an interview with the owner of Vingerman's Deli. And so there was a lot of people that had a lot of interest because of who he was. And so they went to my fan page, they began to put actual comments down. And so what began to happen is that other people would see it in their news feed. And so then other people who saw that they had made a comment, then they were starting to go to the fan page. So the first thing is that you have to regularly post content. It has to be something that's going to be interesting. And then you have to have things that are going to be interesting to your community. So bringing other people in or other content in is going to be key. Sometimes we think that it has to be everything that we create and it's all about us. It's not necessarily about that. People want to know the people that you're connected to. And if they know that you're going to be bringing in content and stuff that's different, then they're going to continue to go back to your fan page and they're going to start to tell other people about it. So I would say interesting content and then bring other resources that they were unaware of before. You know, so I would use that as a way to kind of cross-promote. So I mean, I still promote through my other channels, but I would use that as another way to be able to put stuff out there to be able to cross-promote. So those are just two basic things. So.
Okay, I have a question. How do you get for the people from Facebook and Twitter to come back to your website where, you know, you can get them to sign up for newsletters and just keep them in more on your website than out there on the social? How you have more control of it?
Okay. Now the first thing that I think that everybody should have, he's blowing up back there, I hear you. So everybody should have a hub that they own, first of all. So you don't own Facebook, you don't own Twitter, you don't own YouTube, you don't own any of those sites. You're renting on all of those sites. So that means that if those sites go down, because I had YouTube delete all of my videos. Now I still have the videos, but that means that all the views that were specifically set with those particular videos were gone. It just said that I have 14,000 views, but I got videos that have 80 views next to them. So at the end of the day, you have to first of all have a hub that you own. And then you connect all of these other things to them, okay? And so that's the first thing that you want to own and get your own domain name, get those things, have that set up. And then again, it goes back to regularly posting content, because what's going to happen is that you want to continue to post content on that particular site so that when people begin to look at your feed, that there is regular content that's coming out there that is going to be searchable in Google. So when people go to look for your name, then they'll begin to look. Every one of those posts has a unique URL. And so the first thing is to continue to post content. The other thing is to comment on other people's sites. So that means that if you want people to comment on one of the best things that you can do for a blogger is to leave a comment. How many people have had somebody leave a comment for them and you got geeked when you saw that somebody left a comment? I mean, it is exciting. People feel the same way, and then they almost feel like, well, you know what, if you left a comment for me, then I'm going to leave a comment for you. And so you'll find that that's a way to be able to draw people in. The other thing is that when you leave comments, you need to use something that's called Gravatar, where you can upload, it's spelled Gravatar or something like that, where you can upload your photo. So when you leave a comment on someone else's blog post, that your picture will come out. So like a little mini advertisement of yourself on somebody else's blog post. But then when you leave a comment, you can't use that as a space to say, well, I got 10 books on sale for $7.99, you know, and then you have to make sure that you use the proper etiquette. But even in doing that, you leave a comment that shows that you actually put some thought and time into it. So those are ways to be able to drive people back to your site. Regularly post so that there's a regular feed, and then also leaving comments for other people. And then you can run some kind of promotional, some kind of special, or say for you can do something where you might have some kind of thing. Like I think there was something that was done in the city of Detroit where you could have won an apartment down in the garden condominiums for a year. And so they had a video contest. And so what people did is that they left videos, and so the people had to vote on it. So what that did is that they had a community of people create content that drove people back to the site. So you can do some kind of special program like that too. You got a question? There's a couple ways to do it. I have one for my own personal name, but then I have a business. So say for instance, if you have a separate business, you might want to have one for the business, but I would always recommend that you do have one for yourself too. So you can have both, all depending on what your business objectives are. You know, so it all depends on really what you want to do. If you're only going to have one, then I would say at a minimum have your name. Everybody should own your name. So when you blow up, then you don't have to go back and buy that from somebody else because they will hold you ransom. Guaranteed.